Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Lynn. If I am to give the talk today a title, it will have to be The Branching of the Road. For some reason, it is very difficult for us to accept our divine nature. A Course in Miracles tells us all roads that lead away from what you are lead to confusion and despair. And there are only two roads: the road of light and wisdom, or the road of darkness and ignorance. And we know ignorance is ugly. So we ask the question, what road are you on? Our deepest need is for joy. That comes from loving and being loved. And the source of all joy and security is already within us. It's right within us. We just fail to recognize that. And the Course teaches us, when you come to the place where the branch in the road is quite apparent, you cannot go ahead. You must go either one way or the other. If you went the way you went before, if you went the way you went before you reach the branch, you will go nowhere. The whole purpose of coming this far was to decide which branch you will take. The way you came no longer matters. It can no longer serve you. No one who reaches this far can make the wrong decision, although you can delay yourself, and delay is senseless. The Course is teaching us there's no part of the journey that seems more hopeless and fertile than standing where the road branches and not deciding on which way to go. If it is but the first few steps along the right way that seem hard, for you have chosen, although you still may think you can go back and make the other choice. This is not so. A choice made with the power of heaven to uphold it cannot be undone. Your way is already decided for you. Everything has already been decided for you by one who knows you well. The power of decision is my own. Choose which road you want to travel. The road of love, light, and wisdom, or the road of darkness, ignorance. And we know ignorance is ugly. So we have to choose. Chapter 20 in the text, Enter in the Ark, the Vision of Holiness. And I know I've mentioned this before. It was so, and continues to be, spoke to me very deeply. He will go before you, making straight your path, and leaving in your way no stones to trip on, and no obstacles to bar your way. Nothing you need will be denied you. Not one seeming difficulty but will melt away before you reach it. You need take thought for nothing, careless of everything, except the only purpose that you will fulfill. God's guarantee will hold against all obstacles because it rests on certainty. And the certain are perfectly calm, for they are not in doubt. There will be nothing you will not be told if you acknowledge this. We need to choose the road least traveled. You cannot lose your way. One who knows is traveling with you. You came this far, the Course is teaching us. You came this far because the journey was your choice. And no one undertakes to do what he believes is meaningless. Choice is the obvious escape from what appears as opposites. Are we willing? We're not being asked to do what lies beyond our understanding. Heaven is the decision I must make. Decision leads one of conflicting goals because the aim of effort and expenditure of time. Without decision, time is but a weight and effort dissipated, and it is spent for nothing in return, as the time goes by without results. There's no sense of gain, for nothing is accomplished, nothing learned. You need to be reminded that you think 1,000 choices are confronting you, when there really is only one to make. And even this what seems to be a choice. Choosing depends on learning, and the truth cannot be learned, but only recognized. In recognition, its acceptance lies. And as it is accepted, it is known. Are we willing to accept the truth of what we are? Decisions are the outcome of your learning, because they rest on what you have accepted as the truth of what you are and what your needs must be. And opposition makes the truth unwelcome. The time for wishful thinking is over. We must be willing to open your mind to the reality that is yours, because you are reality. We're prisms of light, reflecting mirror consciousness in this human experience. And when your release is partial, you're only seeing some good. When your release is complete, you're seeing all good. So we need to save the wear and tear of your nervous system by turning toward the light, turning your senses inward. All we can see is what we've made, because you're looking with the body's eyes. And everything physical sight is showing us is fearful. It's painful. And the mind is shut tight against the light, because we are afraid of what spiritual science will show us. We have to open the mind to light correction so we can see all good. In this insanely and complicated world, heaven appears to take the form of choice, rather than merely being what it is. And of all the choices you've tried to make, this is the simplest, most definitive. It is very difficult for most of us to understand to what extent our love can be expanded. If you want to become whole, you should have love and respect for everyone. Because it's only by loving people who oppose us and learning to bear patiently with them that we can heal ourselves and heal them too. Minds are joined, bodies are not. So instead of us trying to exact and demand, just give more, and give still more. This is the way to earn love and respect. And to God given is all, getting is meaningless. And the more effort you make, the more endurance you gain. We need to open our eyes and see with single vision. Learn to have an inner solitude as you keep your attention on the light. Light does not know ugliness. Allow the light to soothe your forehead. You cannot forget what has been stored in your memory. A voice will answer every question you ask. Ask, and you will know. Everything has already been given to us eternally. All we're being asked to do is accept yourself, not an illusion of yourself. Approve of yourself. Have confidence, trust, certainty, courage, assurance in what you are. Release all magic thoughts. Magic thoughts are illusions. It's wishful thinking. It's a distortion in the mind. It's separation from the light, from your true essence. And your mind can wish to be deceived, but you cannot make it be what it is not. Let all things be exactly as they are. Lesson 268. Give faith to one another, for faith and hope and mercy are yours to give. And into the hands that give, the gift is given. Look on your brother and see in him the gift of God you would receive. Heaven is the gift you owe your brother. Lift up your eyes and look on one another in innocence. No one reaches love with fear beside him. And to look upon the fear of God does not need some preparation. The Course is saying, and it is here you choose whether to look upon it or wander on, only to return and make the choice again. So either there is a gap between you and your brother, or you are as one. Excuse me. There's no in-between. There's no other choice, and no allegiance to be split between the two. The Course is teaching us is split allegiance is but faithlessness to both, and sets you spinning round to grasp uncertainly at any straw that seems to hold some promise of relief. And it is not wise to let yourself become preoccupied with every step you take. Look forward, walk in confidence, with happy hearts that beat in hope and do not pound in fear. And do not look back, except in honesty. And as you've often heard me say, I've never looked back. I've made a decision, I've never looked back. You will never fail as long as the reason is right. You know, each of us has the power to bring about change. And to change is to attain a state unlike the one in which you found yourself in before. You want to let your thoughts and actions be honest and clear. Life within us, life inside of us knows what is right, what is true. And it is in every one of us to be wise. And the wise work for the welfare of the world. The ignorant work for themselves. Open up your eyes. See with the eye of your heart. The eye of your heart sees the invisible. Every life is meant for living, and most of us are not living. The Course is saying you can choose between loveless and miraculous channels of expression. You can make an empty shell, but you cannot express nothing at all. You can wait, delay, paralyze yourself, or reduce your creativity almost to nothing, but you cannot abolish it. You can destroy your medium of communication, but not your potential. You did not create yourself. Darkness is a lack of light. And when you have become willing to hide nothing, you will not only be willing to enter into communion, but you will also understand peace and joy. Your belief in darkness and hiding is why the light cannot enter. And darkness is our own imagining. Let the darkness be dispelled by one who knows light. The route is always there, and it is always open. We must be prepared for many years of hiking over rough terrain. Some attractive detours may distract us. Distractions or ego devices for impeding learning progress. All that we need is the willingness to do our best, to stay on the road of light and wisdom and go forward. You cannot remain stationary. You're either going forward or backwards. And the Course is saying, do you really believe you can make a voice that can drown out God's? Never wish for things to be different other than the way they are. Magic thoughts imprison us. It's temptation. It's a substitute. That you could be something other than what you already are. You cannot be anything other than what you already are. Light, eternal. And these magic thoughts imprison us. Practice. It takes practice. It takes willingness. Practice patience and abundant willingness. And keep your steady gaze on the source that gave you life, from which all things flow. You want to flow with the current of light. God makes the rivers to flow. Without magic thoughts, you rest in quiet light, safe, secure, and certain of your divine destiny. You see the universal force of light behind all matter. Everything in form is matter. It's subject to change. Form is always changing. See the invisible force of light behind the matter, the invisible light that flows through matter. Feel the invisible bond. And you know from within you, you have a sense of certainty, sureness, that you are the light of the world. And you are here to express the will of God. And God does not wish, and most of us wish our lives away. Choose to release. Remember, recognize, and realize the reality that is you. Because in the end, it's not about anyone else. It's about you, and only you. Of course, this is teaching us, do you really believe that you can dream up or make up a thought system that can separate you from God? Do you really believe you can plan for your safety and joy better than He can? You need be neither careful nor careless. You need merely cast your cares upon Him, because He cares for you. You are His care, because God loves you. His voice reminds you always that all hope is yours, because of God's care for you. And you cannot choose to escape God's care, because that is not His will. But you can choose to accept His care and use the infinite power of His care for all those He created by it. And the time is now. God weeps at the sacrifice of His children who believe they're lost. So whenever you're not in your natural state of love, joy, whenever you're not wholly joyous, it's because you have reacted with a lack of love to one of God's creations. And of course, it's teaching us the creative power of God and His creations is limitless. But they are not in reciprocal relationship. Reciprocal means equivalent. You communicate, you're corresponding fully with God, and God does with you. Communication was broken because we made another voice. We've been listening to the wrong voice. And this is an ongoing process in which you share. And because you share it, you're inspired to create like God. And we have two conflicting evaluations of yourself in your mind. And they cannot both be true. And you do not realize how completely different these evaluations are, because you do not understand how lofty the Holy Spirit's perception of you really is. The Holy Spirit is not deceived by anything you do, because He never forgets what you are. And if you choose to see yourself as unloving, you will not be happy. You're condemning yourself, which means you're regarding yourself as inadequate. It means you have chosen to be little and to lament your littleness. And littleness is the offering you give yourself. And we're being told, be not content with littleness, but be sure you understand what littleness is and why you could never be content with it. Everything in this world is little, because it is a world made out of littleness. And in the strange belief that littleness can content you, when you strive for anything in this world, in the belief that it will bring you peace, you are belittling yourself and binding yourself, blinding yourself to glory. And littleness and glory are the choices open. Littleness and glory are the choices open to your striving and your vigilance. And you will always choose one at the expense of the other. And what you do not realize each time you choose is that your choice is your evaluation of yourself. Each choice you make brings everything to you or nothing. And you cannot live a choiceless life. Every second gives you the opportunity to choose lovelessness or love. So you ask yourself, why is the choice I made of value to me? What attracts my mind to it? What purpose does it serve? Pause, reflect. If you feel any guilt about your choice, it means you have chosen wrong. It means you're identifying with a false self, false image, littleness. Choose again. Unlearn in order to remember. Your choices are your gifts, and you are choosing to remember your true identity. And we have three choices. One, to come to the decision to end the conflict and dishonesty. Two, to remain as you are, in pain and suffering. 3, to remain divided and partial in your release, where you're sort of half-hearted, unwilling to let go. Trust. One who knows is with you, your true self. Choose littleness, and you will not have peace, because you will be judging yourself unworthy, and no form of littleness can ever content you. And you are free to try as many as you wish, but all you will be doing is to delay your homecoming. You will be content only in magnitude, which is your home. Your function is not little, and it is only by finding your function and fulfilling it that you can escape from littleness. And it does require vigilance to protect your magnitude in this world. God gives you only happiness, and the function he gave you must be happiness, even if it appears to be different. God did not create his dwelling place unworthy of him. And if you believe he cannot enter where he wills to be, you must be interfering with his will. And you do not need the strength of willingness to come from you, but only from God's will. We are just so busy, like insects, day and night, acquiring, attaining, accomplishing, achieving, analyzing, assessing. Do you like what you've made? The answer will put an end to the insidious, treacherous decision to choose light and to bring the light into whatever you're doing, your work or anything else. As you accept your sense of failure as nothing more than a mistake of what you are, the truth of what you are is beyond failure. Bless all of your experiences into wisdom. If you're in fear, it's because you've not made up your mind. We put so much emphasis into getting and having. We need to get out of the getting concept instead of being and allowing. Why not work to transform your sorrow-producing habits that will lead you closer to a greater awareness of your true self? Your deepest desire, your true desire, is to recognize what does matter. And what matters is that you came from light, evolving through light, and will return to light. So you want to balance your inner life with outward activity. Look toward the light and discover your true self. Humility will never ask that you remain content with littleness, but it does require that you be not content with less than greatness that comes not of you. And the Courses say, consider all of the distortions you have made of nothing, all the strange forms and feelings and actions and reactions that you have woven out of it. Nothing is so alien to you as the simple truth, and nothing are you less inclined to listen to. So we will listen to madness or know the truth. How gracious it is to decide. all things through God, whose equal love is given equally to all. We have to unlearn. We've been badly taught. Unlearn in order to remember. Unlearn isolation through his loving guidance. And whenever you are in doubt about what you should do, think of his presence in you. You have spent long days and nights in celebrating death. Learn to feel the joy of life. This is the question that must be asked. Where can I go for protection? Seek, and you shall find. Does not mean that you should seek blindly and desperately for something you would not recognize. Meaningful seeking is consciously undertaken, consciously organized, and consciously directed. The goal must be formulated already and kept in mind. God is your only goal. Vision is showing you where to go. You're being directed. The directive is within. You cannot see the Holy Spirit, but you can see his manifestation. And unless you do, you will not realize he's there. Miracles are his witnesses. And speak for his presence. The miracle is a correction. You are the miracle. They're universal blessings. Open your hearts and discover the miracle of love that is you. And every moment, every second, gives you an opportunity to experience miracles. Let your face reflect the joy in your heart as you celebrate the miracle that is you, the miracle that you are, the miracle of life. Is God is all there is. My eyes, my tongue, my feet, my hands, all of me have but one purpose: to use, to bless the world with miracles. What you cannot see becomes real to you only through the witnesses that speak it, that speak for it. You can be aware of what you cannot see, and it can become compellingly real to you as its presence becomes manifest through you. You cannot see the invisible, yet if you see the effects, you know it must be there. And by perceiving what it does, you recognize its being. And by what it does, you learn what it is. You cannot see your strengths, but you gain confidence in their existence as they enable you to act. The results of your actions you can see. So you must look in before you look out. As you look in, you choose the guide for seeing. And then you look out and behold his witnesses. And this is why you find what you seek. And only you can deprive yourself of anything. And of course you say, do not oppose this realization, for it is truly the beginning of the dawn of light. How long can it take to be where God would have you? You are where you have forever been and will forever be. And those who would seek and those who would see the witnesses to truth instead of to illusions merely ask that they might see a purpose in the world that gives it sense and makes it meaningful. Without your special function, this world has no meaning for you. Yet it can become a treasure house as rich and limitless. Remember nothing that you taught yourself, for you were badly taught. And who would keep a senseless lesson in his mind? When he can learn and can preserve a better one. Everything that I understand only because I love. Know what leads you forward and what holds you back. Why does an easy and simple path seem so difficult and treacherous for us to follow? Because the mind is possessed by illusions, while love is eternally free and always at your disposal. Illusions are deceptions, and deceptions makes us fearful. And when in fear, we react out of lack of awareness. We are deceived by the form. Form is always changing. Look to the formless, the unchangeable, unchanging, eternal, immortal self within, where all things are in righteous order, where nothing can frighten you, where you're safe and secure forever and forever. To be and know your true self means you are inwardly secure in your love. And love is not an emotion. It's the being that wants to be known. The knower must become one with the known. And it's a knowing that comes to an innocent mind. To be religious is a state of mind. It means you're in tune with the infinite. And nothing else is. The mind is still. It's attentive. It's a new mind. It can receive. So we must be willing to change your entire life to know this one truth. But we're so resistant to change. It's frightening. It's gut-wrenching. Our beliefs keep us in bondage and separation. Belief is man's thought system. You are the knower, searching to remember, to know thyself. Emotion is energy in motion, and energy flows where your attention goes. There's the thought system of man and the thoughts of God. And the thoughts of God can only be heard in quiet. In quiet, I receive. And the thought of God judges no one, but observes everything. And many of us must be reached by words because we are unable to hear in silence. Who you think you are cannot forgive, but you can forgive. You know, we've heard the expression, who do you think you are? The truth is, I am as God created me. I am an eternal being, filled with love and light. Are we willing to let go of our tightly organized delusional beliefs? Love forgives, the ego damns. You are the anointed one, and you anoint yourself by knowing yourself. And the self in one is the self in all. Forgiveness offers everything I want. It's in forgiving that we remember. And forgiveness becomes the means by which you learn. There's nothing to forgive. The holy pure have never sinned. What I thought my brother did to me did not occur. So analyzing our mistakes and dwelling on how to repay them is just a waste of energy. It's of no earthly benefit at all. How willing are we to let go? How willing are you to forgive your brother? How much do you desire to know yourself? How much do you desire peace? Do not ever think you can see sin in anyone except yourself. I'm responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. Can we take a good look at what we've done to ourselves, each other, and the planet, and decide it's time for change? Forgive us our illusions and help us to accept what is true. Every loving thought is a true thought. And as long as you see yourself as a physical body, you're in hell. The body is not the source of strength. We are so dispirited. The body's eyes see only form. It cannot go beyond what it was made to see. Only by being in the light can you forgive yourself. The past isn't for the past. The past is a memory trace in the mind. You wrote a fearful script. You're rewriting the script. Be gentle and compassionate with yourself. We're moving through a process of change. Change is the nature of this universe. Change does not happen if the old structure remains in place.